We're cooking, boys. I'm telling you,
I love this truck.
Yeah, he matches the gravel.
That's going to be your new truck.
Alright, I'm done with that.
There goes the tools. All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back on the rat rod today. Today we're getting these hangers off this Suburban frame because I took the springs off for the car. So the natural thing to do is take these hangers off because they're made for the springs. They're not made for the truck, but they're made for the springs. So I'm gonna get these off. The bolts will come out. I'm gonna use the rear one upside down, then I'm gonna use the front one the way it is. I can't use them if they're on here, so it's time to cut them off. It's a beautiful day. It could be a little warmer for Memorial Day, but it's pretty nice out. Sucky job. No one's gonna do it for you though. There's a lot of good parts on this frame. This bracket and this bracket here is for a gas tank. You can put those in a regular pickup truck and switch to a Suburban or a Blazer gas tank. I'm gonna say, if you only had an air chisel, Tim, I got one. I just don't like them. Boom. Now, we got a good spring hanger. One down, 3 to go. Same thing right here. All right, I didn't film it, and it came off in minutes. I mean, I got that one off quick. So I'm gonna give you a little idea of what I'm gonna do here. Okay, this is the spirit of using what you got. Let me give you a little rundown here. So, old boy up in Grove City that sells cars, he thought this was useless. He threw it up on Marketplace for $100. I immediately went and got it, and probably had $30 in gas. I bought the transmission transfer case that's in the rat rod off Keith Moore for $300. I sold the 14 bolt that's in this back to Keith Moore for $300. So really, I mean, I got my money back. So what else I'm going to use is this 2-wheel drive power steering box. Now, crossover steering on 4-wheel drive square bodies, you need a 2-wheel drive box. And you also just need a pretty nice 2-wheel drive box, pitman arm, drag link. It's all right there. I'm going to save everything from this. I'm going to end up cutting the frame, and here's why. This is going to take a little while, so don't get on me. But what I see is a blank slate of a nice big long frame. And what I need right here is I just need a little bit of frame, because the 8-lug Thug, original 8-lug Thug here, 50 Pontiac, the car has the look, but it don't have the guts. The underneath of it's rotten, frame's junk, floor pan's junk, so on and so forth. So what I want to do is I want to make this a funny car. If I'm going to do extensive sheet metal work to it, I want to do a mega hinge back here in the trunk. You pop the trunk, there's hinge with grease cert, hinge with grease cert, just like a dump truck bed. And then I got ideas. I got Rams laying around. I got free truck with I just got ideas to make this do this and still be 8-lug and straight axle in the front. So I only need enough frame for the body of the car to sit on, because what I'll do is I'll end up cutting all this front off, because more or less just because of the length of it, I won't need much past those front mounts right there. So the car will be at the back. I know the hump's going to be weird, but it'll be in the back seat. It'll be all right. Don't worry about that. That's if you worried about that, you wouldn't build it. So we're going to have mega hinge in the back, 50 Pontiac that goes up and down. So $100 frame is going to last me forever in parts. And also, this K member can go under anything, any Chevy truck. They're all the same width. So 8-lug Thug in the making right there. Don't mind that 9-inch Ford. We'll get to that. So that's just a quick rundown. I'm going to pull that drive shaft out. And that carrier bearing, those are pieces that I'll use. Well, I guess I could film better. I'm going to pull that drive shaft out. I got a slip yoke. I got a fixed side. I got pretty much everything I need right there to build a couple drive shafts for the rat rod. That's it. What I'll end up doing is I'll use these body mounts as my set down point. The car will come down and set onto those. And then we will build a roll cage to the frame that would save you independent from the car body. So basically we'll have a dune buggy with a hollowed out, no floor car body on it. And what I would like to do is get a floor for a 50 Chevy, 50 Pontiac and fit it, and then take the rough edges and make them not sharp, just kind of where the body would sit down. I build freak shows. I don't build stuff that your mom wants to drive. So that's coming. I just wanted to show you while I'm here the ideas of a maniac. So I thought this was actually going to be hard to cut. I'm just going to reach right down in there and cut it, just like I did on the other side. So should have that off here just a minute. Then we'll move on to better stuff. All right, time to get the other second one off. I spared you the boredom of watching. 2 for 2. These front ones are harder, if you can believe that. So I'll probably just go ahead and get them off while I don't make you watch. But we got 2 off. Woo, dog. I swung way too many times on that one. Should have had that air hammer I was dreaming about. I got one. Just need a bigger compressor. Be right back. See that? All right, there it is, boys. Parts and parts, nuts, washers, bolts, the whole 9 yards. It's all right here. It's all right in front of you. Look, that bolt's still good. We use anti-seize on that, grease that up, put that through there. We're cooking, boys. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna have no money in this car. You can take your budget, throw it out the window, because I'm not even gonna have $3 grand in it. Yeah, maybe I will. All right, I made one without filming just so I knew how it'd turn out. Basically, I'm gonna show you how easy that was. So I got a plumb bob here. If you don't have plumb bobs, you should grab a couple or 4. So I'm just side to side and got my leaf springs. I measured them back here and they're 50 1/4. So I go up to the front and I measure them, they're 50 1/4. So I know my leaf springs are straight. So the trick to this whole operation is getting these front spring hangers square and straight, and so it don't dog walk down the road. There's nothing worse than a dog walk. So basically I cut this. I took this and I cut that. Let me show you what I did. All I did was, as a reference, wait a second. I got the wrong one. Hold on a minute. Things are getting confusing. Here it is. Ah! Here she is. We'll get to you in a little bit. I gotta go grab my tripod. So I'll show you what I did just so I get them both straight. I just laid this in here like this. Square to that. And make a mark. I can't do nothing and hold the phone, so hold on a minute. Don't know why I started filming without a tripod. We're gonna shut this door. Get more room in here. Tiny garage, 30 by 30. Everybody asks, how big's your garage? It's 30 by 30. It's not big enough, but better than nothing, and I'm fortunate to have it. Had a good time in Petersville this weekend down Louisville. Never been before, so we hauled ass down in the C50. The rain messed up a good time, but we still had a blast. I guess now that we've put on one show, we can call ourselves promoters. So you know the importance of a good weather day. That's almost impossible to have anymore, is a good weather day. Now we got something to work with. A lot less, but it's something. We'll jack the frame up so we can get some meat to weld to right there. Oh yeah, we're moving though. Every single piece from scratch. Gotta find it, build it, cut it, grind it. It ain't no Geo Metro cut in half. It's a complex machine. I'm really testing my own boundaries, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So I'm gonna grab some floor jacks. I'm gonna jack it up a little bit. I'm gonna do some prep work, and I hope to get those tacked in here in just a few minutes. And once I get those tacked in, good, where they won't move, and I know they're straight. That's a big deal. That's a big step. I need to start cleaning that front axle up so I can tack weld the coil spring perches. I mean, I'm getting really close to start tack welding stuff and getting it together. That's a big deal to me. So I'm gonna keep on going, keep grinding away at it. All right, this is one of the worst things left to do. I cut the other ones on the chop saw. I bought a new blade for the chop saw the other day. The center hole's wrong. I mean, it's Memorial Day, and I got a grinder and a whole stack of cutoff wheels, so really I'm just going to do it myself, and I can probably have it done before this 10% of battery dies. So that's what I'm going to do. If you can't buy it or build it, make it. Well, if you can't buy it, make it. So I took a square, and I put the square on there. 1.5 inches, 3, 4.5, 6. I just made marks all the way around. So now I'm just going to clamp it, cut what I can, turn it, cut what I can, turn it. But my battery's dying, so I want to give you an update. This will be the top spring pocket, which I already got the bracket, and I got the teardrop. So tacky, weldy, weldy. Put the spring in, put the spring pocket on the axle, tack it on, good, and let it sit down. And it'll be on its own weight, at least the front axle. So I'm going to get in the groove. I filmed a lot today. I kind of just give you a recap. The front sitting on its spring. I got the back spring hangers welded in, nice and tight. The frame will come apart. Everything will get welded. The rear ends will come out. Everything will get welded in a comfortable position. That way nothing ever comes loose. You can see my perch there. So the next time you see this, I'll have cross member across here welded in. And this should be sitting bouncy style. Thanks for watching. All right, it's a big moment. Sometimes I get ahead of the camera. Got my spring hangers cut. Look at that fit. Look at that welding surface. Then where it's sticking up, I'll have a piece coming down. So when you're building something like this, you want to use 1/4 inch everything, unless you know you don't hardly ever want to use 1/8 inch. 1/4 inch for structural. 1/8 inch is good, like up where I'll have up in the cabin and stuff, but I still don't use that much. But factory hangers, they didn't cost me anything. I had them. I already made my money back on the frame. I used the spring plates from the top of the rear end I sold. I'm going to buy new U-bolts, and I got to buy new pads for back here. But I have another truck back here, so I might have another set. I just got to go work for them. So we got the welder fired up. We got a tack weld there. We're putting a tack weld on there. Then we'll get in there and clean up that axle. That way we can set our perches on there. But once we have this, we know our axle's located. I have plumb bobs. I decided to kick it back a little bit. Hopefully I don't regret that. But I think we should be all right. As far as fitting it under there, I better double check with tire size and everything. But I think I'm good. Let's check that real quick. I think that rear axle will move back a little from where it's at. We'll make them proportionate. So this tire's, say 32, half that 16 puts us right there. So plenty of room to fit, even if we move the rear end back a little bit, which we probably will. So we gotta get the front end mounted first, and then we'll figure out how to make it all roll. I'd say by the end of this week, I'm gonna have it rolling. It's gonna pull out of this garage on its own weight for the first time in its life. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get here and burn these in. I'm gonna double check some stuff, but I'm sitting on the plumb bobs on both sides, so I'm pretty sure I was measuring before I turned the camera on. This frame's gonna come completely apart, get flipped over, and everything underneath will be welded. So I want to weld it to where it don't come loose, break off, and it'll hold weight. That's really all I'm trying to do right now is just get it to where it'll hold its own weight when I go to set it down. Don't tell me we just ran out. We're out of wire. No way. Man, last time I went to the store, they only had one roll. What a bummer. Well, that'll end it for you right there when you're out of gas. Well, that's a good lesson. Unless I find something hanging on the wall, I just ran out of wire. I know I always have a spare roll. Last time I went to the store, they didn't have any. So here we are. We're squared up. So I'm on to take a break, clean up everything, get in there and grind those axles. I need to do that anyway. I've been putting that off. Dirty job. Gotta get that axle cleaned up, that axle cleaned up. So there's still plenty to do when you run out. Don't just stop. Don't get discouraged and stop. Keep going. That's what I'm gonna do. Best news ever. Had a roll of welding wire on the countertop. So we can proceed. Tacking these front hangers on good. I didn't want them to move, so I'm glad I found that. Nice little weld. Guess that's more than a tack. It's part of its life now. Nick Banjo shackle. That ain't going anywhere. Inspired by the Hellhound, Sam Heffley. His rear axle is mounted like this, and he's got airbags, which I may end up having to do so I don't get hung up on little piles of brush and whatnot. Let's weld this one in. Weld it while you can do it. It's in there. Once I flip it over, I'll be able to weld everything in tight. But that's a big deal, man. All right, everybody. Here we are. What are you doing, boy? Look at him. He matches the gravel. All right. Well, we're involved in this is probably the worst thing I've ever had to film because it's probably the worst thing I've ever had to do. But we are cutting leaf springs in half. We got one set done down there, and we're working on the second set. We got people in the Airbnb down there, and I was outside when they pulled in. This is a horrible noise, and I didn't want to make them mad as soon as they got here. So I'd moved up here to the house up here. So I just figured I'd show you what I'm doing here. That way it'll make more sense to you when I show you what we're going to do with these when I get done. We're making pretty much quarter elliptical springs. These will just hold the rear end. So I'm going to keep on cutting and I'll film it, but she's probably going to speed it up. I just want to tell you what I was doing. I want to show the whole process, you know. See what we're doing here. Notice you better run for the hills. We're going to end up with a lot of useless spring stock. This stuff's very hard to cut. I should probably be using my chop saw, but I'm up here using this. I had to take a break because the grinder was overheating. You see how bad it is, but it's all right. It's not costing us anything. I had all these springs laying here, so budget right there. 0. You see? Leaf spring. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had all 4 of them. $0. I'm gonna buy U-bolts because you never reuse U-bolts. Never reuse U-bolts. Scratch. All right, that's how sucky that is. Got 3 down, got 1 to go. I'm gonna do that one tomorrow. Here comes the boss. All right, everybody. I got a special treat for you today. Dick Banjo. That's right. That's the moniker of the build-off car. He's the king of the mountain. He's the mountain man. He comes down out of the mountain to get his supplies, to do what's necessary to stay away from modern society in the time of Dick Banjo. So we've had a lot going on locally here since we've seen you last. We put on our own car show, and we had great support. And our friends came out, and we had a good time. We hung out for 3 days, and we're going to do it again next year. So mark your calendars. A weekend to go next year. Come out to the Piece and Grease show, and there'll be way more on that, but we're not worried about that right now. I'm just riding high from the weekend. Got to hang out with all my friends, meet new friends. We hung out in the barn, had my old buddy Corey Wheat, AJP Customs, Vintage 10, Adam Spraggin, Heffley Customs, had them all here hanging out. Resurrected Garage. We had a massive time. Todd Johnson. Todd don't have YouTube, so he feels like he gets left out. Everybody tell Todd Johnson to get a YouTube. So, today we're back on the Banjo Man. And I'm not sure where we left off, but there was some discussion last time on the front suspension. And there was talk of me going, hold on, camera's jammed up. So at one point I was going to put coil springs on here and it was going to kind of look weird. I didn't like it. We're not going to do that. We are running now we're going to run a massive 2-link. Basically, that's not done, so don't panic because I got to put a bigger bracket there and a bigger bolt. But this is going to be our pivot point, right in the strength of the frame. There'll be some cross members. Massive hitch stock 1/4 inch 2x2 that comes out with a center pin, grade 8 bolt that comes out. I basically call it my goalpost. So if you're at home and you're wondering how it's connected, it's not finished welded, but it's basically a H, a big T, I don't know. Basically a sawhorse. So what that'll do is locate the front axle, keep the pinion from twisting. So most of you know, but the main thing on a drive axle, front wheel or rear wheel, is your pinion angle. You don't want too much pinion angle. You don't want messed up pinion angle. You want your rear end and your drive shaft to have just a little bit of angle where they straighten out under acceleration and the drive shaft is perfectly straight. So, in order to do that, I'm locating it as the factory did, using the leaf spring and the U-bolt, force of those U-bolts, the center pin, the chunk of the axle, the perch, all that will tie that in together. Then just right out front is my spring. It's a buggy type spring. Is it going to work? Probably not. Am I going to drive it? Definitely. So don't worry about that. Don't get too caught up in trying to be the greatest Mr. Heim joint or Mr. Plasma Cutter. That's where y'all are wrong. And that's not what I'm about. This is about getting down here on your knee and building it like the guys I watch. First time I ever started watching Corey Weed, he's building stuff on his knee with a grinder. Ian Roussel, simple garage, simple tools, simple process, fantastic results. We're not a Bondo garage, we're a Rust, and we trust in the Rust. So it will work. I mean, it's going to work. It has no choice to work. I grew up building derby cars. I wasn't great at that. I'm not saying I was great at that, but it taught me how to leaf spring a car. You tune your suspension, you know. There's guys who cut frames and weld them together. I'm not criticizing you. So that being said, in a perfect world, I would do coilovers, maximum flexibility. I mean, let's be honest, this is a $5,000 budget build-off car, so you use what you got laying around. I met a guy this weekend at our show, Todd Majors. Beautiful truck, motor, big block Chevy behind, and he brought me a spring. I'm using a Chevy four-wheel drive front spring. Is that correct? Probably not. Does it fit in there how I'm going to use it? Excellently, yes. I don't even know if that's a word. We're going to run it. Chevy 4-inch leaf spring, center pin, right under my front. It's behind me. I'm going to show it to you, but I'm going to tell it to you first. So my leaf spring is going right where my main cross member is going to be. It's out front. It's going to ride like crap. We're going to drive it, smile, and that's about it, you know. So I tried to use his spring. My spring is long, and it don't have a lot of arch, so I know it's going to be stiff. But if I don't like it, I can always use a Chevy 6-inch spring, 8-inch spring. I can tune it however I want. I just had these laying around, and that's just a rat rod build off, and that's what we're going to do. I appreciate the spring, Todd. I'm going to hold on to it. We'll keep it around. It's yours. It's here, and whenever you need it, we're going to get it back to you, or I'll run it in the next project. So I appreciate you giving me that. That means a lot from me, for you to bring something to give to me. So thank you on that, and it was nice meeting you. I got all kinds of ideas and inspirations. My own property, our property, was full of just all kinds of vehicles from all walks of life, from all areas. So I'm super inspired. I bought some headlights. The guy made me a peace sign. Comment below. I had a hard time keeping up with everybody. So if you're watching this and you're at our show, drop a comment so I can relate a name to a face again. So that being said, that'll lock in our front end. If I ever have any caster camber issues with my tie rods, ball joints, not my tie rods, my ball joints, I can use shims. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to set it up perfect and run no shims, some shocks. That leaf spring, it's going to go down the road, no problem. I swear it will. I mean, there's no way it won't. I drove a truck home the other night with no headlights, so I know this will go down the road. That brings me to our next project. Homemade buckets. I finally figured out what I'm going to do on the rear, and we're going to coil spring the rear using 2014-ish Dodge 3500 front coil springs. You like my new hat? Vintage 10. I know you're watching. Comment about the hat. So, and go check out Vintage 10. So I go to the scrapyard, and things that catch my eye, I buy. I bought a piece of pipe that was like this long, and I section cut it. That really eats up a chop saw blade, and look how rough it is. So I got that. As I was walking around, I see these teardrops. Oh, I'm so sad. I knew just from by looking they were perfect size for my coil spring. So what I do is I take this, I weld it to that, 1/4-inch plate, coil bucket. It can't go anywhere. It's in there. It ends up looking like this. And then also, as I'm walking around the scrapyard, First Street Recycling in Dayton, go up there and tell them piece.n.grease sent you, and they'll hook you up. I found these laying around, 1/4-inch plate, already cut. First thing I seen was a pad, and if needed, a Heim joint connector. So my plan was when I see those, run them parallel, put a plate across them. They become super strong then. And then I'm cutting a radius in them with my Lemon Fab plasma cutter that Dave sent me that I cannot now live without. So basically, I'm taking that out. See, clean that up, and I end up with that. So basically, I end up with these pieces, and I end up with this, which will also get a plate across there to keep it from side to side walking. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in the back. Let's go to the back. I haven't been showing much because I've been busy. I'm always busy, but now we're back. All right, let me get you in here. So basically, what we'll do is we'll take the bucket that I made, and it'll sit on here like this. And we're going to do the same thing back here. In the back, in the spirit of hot rodding, because I'm running 2 axles in the back, and they're Dana 70s, and this one's a chunk of crap that I probably won't be able to do nothing with but make it roll. So there's no room in the budget for an airbag system. I mean, to buy a system to make this all work would be $1,600. I could piece it together for cheaper than that. I just really don't have that kind of time. So what we're going to do is you're going to use the leaf spring front mount. Then we're going to chop the spring off behind the U. I'm going to use U-bolts and top plate. And we're going to locate the rear axle like we did the front. We're going to use the factory style clamshell, center pin, level, run it. We'll adjust our pinion angle. We can use shims if we have to. Anything can be adjusted at that point. Nothing's welded in. And the reason I'm doing the leaf spring, I'm going to have to sacrifice 2 sets of Chevy leaf springs. Whack, whack, no big deal. The reason I'm doing this is it's a rat rod build off. This is not how I would do it if I was spending unlimited money. I don't have unlimited money, so this is how I'm going to do it. Anyway, it's going to work out. I'm going to use basically a 2-link massive leaf spring connection in the front that I'll fabricate. U-bolts and plates. That'll lock that front end in place. It won't go anywhere. And then I'll use this coil spring setup on top of it. Then I'll have there'll be a cross member across there to catch the coil spring top with my bucket on bottom, basically. And then I'll have independent rear axles. They'll move on their own. That way I don't get hung up because the rear one's not driving immediately. I can get it on the trailer and stuff. They'll work on their own. It'll be springy like an old McDonald's when you rode Old Grimace. Coil springing. So that's the plan. And is it going to work? You're damn right it's going to work. It don't have no choice to work. It's going to, as long as I can put power to the axles, it will go down the road and stop and start and everything we need it to do. So, with all that being said, it's time to get to work and build. I got to build 3 more of these. Nothing to it. Keep moving along. And then back to the front. I got U-bolts, brand new. They'll go down over the front. Then I'll have a plate on bottom with a center pin hole, tight holes. This is just big. This plate don't really matter. It's got a center pin. It's not going to move. And then that'll lock the front in place. And then on the end, what I'm going to do right here is I'll drill that 1/4-inch 2x2 tubing bigger, and I'll put a 9/16. Well, I need a 9/16 bolt, so I have to do some measuring, and I'll do a sleeve through that tubing instead of just using the edges of the tubing, because eventually that'll wear out the bolt. It will work, but it'll eventually wear out the bolt. So we're going to sleeve the tubing, and really, I'm in the point of the project where I'm not sure if I'll make the deadline. I've been telling Jennifer Day, like, now I'm worried, I'm running out of time. But the more I sit in here and talk to you, the more I realize that once I get these axles rolling, all three axles sitting on its own weight, where I can start, I got to take everything back apart. I'm going to take the frame, flip it over, weld everything in. I did that once, but I've been adding stuff, so I don't want to miss anything. Plus, I have the capabilities here with equipment to pull it all apart, get the cab off. I got a lot of I ain't gonna do any body work, but I got metal to still add into the cab, but I can do that once it's bolted to the frame. So and I can't build the floor until I get all that done. So I'm only down to like 115 days or something like that by the time you're gonna see this. So I gotta get cracking. There's gonna be long nights. I know the motor's good. I just gotta buy a clutch, gonna need a hydraulic throwout bearing, um, drive shafts and stuff like that. So I'm not getting anything done. Let me show you one other thing. So one of the things about, this is just my opinion, this has not been said by anyone involved with the build off, but being that there's a budget and there's room outside of that budget for safety, and they don't want doors ripping off, I would imagine. They don't want fuel leaking on the ground. They don't want brakes failing. So don't get other builders, in my opinion, don't get locked into not to that money value. You're going to have more than $5,000 in it. Let's just be honest, because your time's worth something. Brake fluid, oil, dirt. I'm not sure how that goes, but everyone needs oil. Everyone needs brake fluid. I imagine it's not in the budget. I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to build wisely. I've created more work for myself doing it 3 axles. I've created more work for myself making it 4-wheel drive. But that's the vision I want, and I'm not going to just change who I am just to throw something together and go up there and just hang out. I'm going to try to build the most badass son of a bitch anyone's ever seen and come in there and hang with the big boys, visit with my friends, and let Dick Banjo sit there and do the talking. And that's really what we're all going to do. So there's a lot of work involved, and I got a long ways to go. I get discouraged, but I started with nothing. I started with a junk frame and a junk cab that I bought off a guy who was never going to do anything with it. There's just a negative person, and it's just, when I bought it from him, he had visions how he wanted it built, but that's dreams. Those are pipe dreams, and I'm actually going to put it on here and drive it down the road. So there's a difference between thinking about it, talking about it, and what we're trying to do is inspire you. I'm not trying to teach you how to build. We can learn together. I'm going to teach you how to get out of your garage and work on something. You only got about 2 hours a day that if you have a regular job and a family, you can only find about 2 hours a day to get out there and work on something. So you got to take advantage of that time. You got to get your kids involved. You got to ask your wife for help, even if it's cleaning the garage. Get that element going to where it's a family thing. I'm not big on competitions. I hate to feel like a loser because I'm super competitive and I don't like losing. I'm kind of stepping outside my comfort zone, going on this build off, and it's not to win it. It's the people I've been meeting, doing what I love, are incredible. I've met Anthony from Hardcore Fab. I've met Joshua Joyce from Village Customs. I've met so many great people that I thought I would never even be around, who have been in the industry for a long time and are super talented. And now I want to put myself in that area and meet new people, and that's why we're going to Illinois in September. This is new for us, and we hope to see you up there, and I got a long ways to go. So now let me show you what I bought. Speaking of safety, I'm running suicide doors, and I'm making my own hinges because suicide door hinges are like $500 a set, and it's not the hinge that is as important, it's the latch. The hinge is there, the latch could fly open and send your little kid flying out, tumbling down the road like it used to happen in the 80s. Your hubcap would go flying off, the door would swing open because it weighed 95 pounds and was 6 foot long, and your kid would go flying out the window, out the door, and you'd have to grab him by the shirt and jerk him back in. Happened to me. So I just, these are cheap. They're not name brand. I bought them from Spamazon, but basically it gives me a nice striker, nice clean metal to weld a nice striker in. And then basically we have a bear claw latch here. which I'll build a little, I just take scrap metal, I'll build it here on the edge of the table, I'll build a little box, notch out the door, the actual door, and we'll put this in there. And then when you slam your door, it just latches. Well, it latches like that. Then you just got a little handle. There's 100 different ways to do it, but this is these were $40 for a pair. So they just come loose. They just slam. The bear call latch. It's what a lot of people use. There's probably different brands and everything, but I'm gonna use the Jeff Bezos edition bear call latch. Thanks, Jeff. You're my homie. Keep sending me some more parts, and let's work on that sponsorship. So I've already cut into my 2 hours tonight, but I haven't been talking to you guys a lot. I've been trying to work because a few people in the comments said little less talk and a lot more action. So I'm trying to give you that, but sometimes we lose connection of what's going on. And I just wanted to touch base, tell you what's happening. We're just building on, man. This is Dick Banjo, and you people probably wonder what that is. It's the persona of the vehicle. I had joked around and said that I had sold it to Dick Banjo. There's no such person. So calm down with the rumors. I didn't sell off my build-off car because A, no one would buy it, and B, I ain't selling it for less than $5,000 because to me it's worth $100. So I'm gonna get some safety equipment, fire up the old Lemon Fab plasma cutter, and we're going to make the rest of these brackets because I've been talking too much. All right, got all the brackets cut. I was jamming. Oh yeah. This is the kind of work nobody wants to watch. It's the most important. Yeah. Don't worry about your welds, they'll hold. Burn it. All right. 2 down, 2 to go. Probably run out of wire. I know I should be talking right now, but there ain't a lot to say. I'm just working. Got 2 done. I feel pretty good about that. Got this one and that one to go. Tops should be easy. I don't need these brackets. The tops will just, I got more pipe. I'll probably just have a cross member with pipe welded to it and then just sitting there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not rocket science. There's 3. Fucking freaking hot rod shop in here, boys. I got to take a break. All right, I was cranking them out, man. I didn't think you wanted to watch me make all 4 of them. But it's 9 o'clock. Tuesday night. I got them all made. I stuck with it till I got it all made. So let me show you what's going on. So you're seeing it here first. Bucket cups. bucket cups, spring, 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 quarter elliptical, tower coming down, quarter elliptical, spring, spring. Let me show you here. Me and old Sam Heffley. I've been taking tips, and I met Sam Heffley with Heffley Customs, and he's got a little mini big rig he built. And me and him was talking. Since we don't have dual drive, you always got the fear of hanging yourself up high center in that drive axle because the back axle is higher, so then your tires just spin. So I may end up having bags back here, but I'm setting it up coil, and then because I want to dual drive it. And now since it got taller, there's room in here for more activities of transfer cases to drive both axles, which is the ultimate goal, is to drive both axles and have the camper tilt up. Why not? You know, no one's ever done it. So here's the thing. If no one's ever done it, you're not doing it wrong. You're the first. You're the innovator. So I'm innovating this, and basically I end up, you look here, I can run, the way I set this up, I can run link bars if I ever want to. If this just don't work out, I have that option to drill a hole, put a link bar in. And then what I plan on doing here is just getting a stem shock with a stem, like in front of your truck, then just drill a hole. Or I'll do a saddle clamp. And then my top cross member will have a place for the top of the shock. So really, once I get cross members in, this mount right here will go in here heavily fortified. 45, 45, then leaf spring mount running back to there. That's the plan, and I'm going to execute it. I will have diagonals, nothing will move. Trust me, I built it overkill. Got a 110 welder, but it's been on hot, wide open. All the juice, all the wire, filling cracks. These welds look kind of crappy, but it's rounded edge. So I burned, this is 2 passes at least on all the seams, because I got in there and just burnt that seam in there with that raw, shiny metal. Just, you know, it looked deep, and I knew you'd criticize me, so I went back and buttered it, like just running it hot over top so I can clean it down. That's it for tonight. It might not be it for this video, but I wanted to show you I got them all done. I stuck with it. Next step will be, before I can weld them on, to locate the axles with my leaf springs. I got that spring there and that spring there. They're ready to cut, make a front mount, U-bolts, plates, boom. Same with here. As soon as I get this in here, now I know what we're doing. I got another set of springs in a Suburban frame, and I imagine they're similar, probably exactly the same. Close enough. And I'm going to do the same thing with those, which this is nice because this will allow me to have this mount way up here. And then both axles will work independent of each other instead of on a grid. We all talked about that the other night. We were all in here, Corey Wheat and Heffley and Adam. We all just looked at it and kind of decided it's kind of what I had in mind anyway. I just listened to other people's advice and opinions, and it's just 4-link and it's too expensive for this build off. Obviously, if you wanted to build this in flex and 4-wheel, you would use Heim joints, DOM tubing. There's not enough room in the budget for this. Would take, if I did adjustable on each end, this would take, would be a lower and upper arm on each side. So 4 arms times 2, that's 8. And then a panhard bar, which I'm going to have anyway, that's 2. That's 10 joints per side. And these would be, I would have at least 20 foot or 30 foot in that stuff. And it's probably expensive. It's probably $10 a foot, $20 a foot at least. So maybe I'm wrong on that. Don't blow me up, but this will work. Trust me. Maybe. We'll find out together when we show up. So I'm gonna, might be it for tonight. Then I'll catch you back in the morning. Bye.
What we got going on here today, babe?
Got a little customer job here. Oh, a 65 maybe, 65 Chevy. This is truck Chad Bolin that has. He says he used to own it, then he got it back, and somebody changed the motor and transmission in it. And sounds like it's got pit bull in it.
That don't sound good.
Nope. I think there's no pilot bearing in there. He says he don't really know what happened when they put the stuff in or who did it or how good they did it. So I got a big paint job coming up on the van, and he treats me right on the other stuff, but I'm wanting this one to be a little more involved. So don't hurt to get in his pocket every once in a while. So we're going to get it in here, and it's Tuesday night. No one's really around to bother us, so we're going to see if we can't get it on the lift. It's got 4-speed in it, so we need to get the drive shaft out, get the 4-speed out. Hopefully it didn't mess up the transmission.
Yeah, I hope not. That would be real bad.
If you go way back in our videos, almost a year ago, well, about 11 months ago, she helped me take the transfer case out of the Army truck, so she's been under one, and she said she wanted to help.
Yep, I haven't been down here forever because of the show and everything else in life. So I'm
Yep.
barely in the barn, and I want to get in there a little.
I haven't even looked under it yet. We're going to pull it in there and get it on the lift and jack it up.
Yep, so here we go.
Hear this or not. You let out the clutch, it's got a big slop in it. You probably can't hear it. There it is. I don't know. This lift is small. It's a good thing I only weigh 180. I tore my groin running at the
Beater.
yeah, I was wide open, running hard. It's got a good looking motor.
I love this truck.
Somebody look, it's got aluminum heads. Pretty good motor. The wiring's kind of cobbled up. He says the gauges don't work, and you might want it rewired. I haven't even looked under it yet. Yeah. Hit the button on the lift just for a few seconds. Silver went up there. Keep going.
Longer?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Stability.
I know.
I'm going different work. We're doing different work on a different board.
Are
You
ya?
are?
Yeah.
What are you working on?
My mom's truck.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be your new truck.
Oh yeah, Dick Banjo's mine now?
Yes.
Step out of there for a minute. Just test it. I ain't going nowhere.
This is my new truck. You're working on?
Working on it.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Hmm.
Appreciate you.
You filmed me for a little bit.
I am.
You filming me?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys, a minute. I'm going to get the toys. Tools, I mean.
Tools, I mean.
First thing we gotta do is take the drive shaft out. Young man, watch out.
Oh, grab. Oh. I grabbed big wrench. It's
Here goes the tools. Are you gonna get out of here? We gotta take these off here.
Yeah.
Take these straps off. Don't need that yet, Butch.
Okay.
Leave it over there where you found it. Because I probably needed it.
I'm gonna give it once you get it.
For that project.
You got a bag or a bucket or something for me to put these in? Give him something he can turn something on. That ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Like what?
I don't know. Something laying around that has bolts on it.
Well, you gotta have the best one, man.
What's
gonna
he
do with
got?
that?
What's he got?
Still fixing the engine.
He's going for the snap on. Not just the old Harbor crates. He goes for the snap on.
I'm doing it the old hard way. Come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Come on, big engine.
Big engine?
We're gonna do when I.
He's like a 6-pack.
I don't know.
You
We're
gonna
gonna
make
do
it
when I fix you. I knew I did yoga. I did yoga before. After I got.
You got yelled at at school for what?
I didn't say it.
Oh. That's what I thought I heard. Alright, I'm done with that. I got Sammy working on the old busted engine over here.
Yeah.
Wrench.
Snap starter with the snap on it.
Wrenching away. Our family wrenches together.
We are. Let's see if we can get it out.
Activities.
I'm almost done with this swirling.
So when you pop this
Except
out,
get it where it's tight.
you lose these caps. And if there's nothing wrong with the U-joint, the piston's already junk. I can feel it. Already, I can feel it. There's no need to tape that sucker. This is going to be... I don't think this is... Surely this ain't the problem. This could be the freaking problem, Chad.
It didn't sound like it was in the transmission to me when you first started it out there and
Okay.
moved it. I heard something, but it didn't sound like the
Okay, so we
transmission.
have no caps.
That's cracked.
There's nothing in it. It's dry.
All right.
I don't think we should take the transmission out yet.
Well,
I'm
try this.
visiting my
I think we should put a new
dad
U-joint in it
Yeah.
and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Mom, I'm
troubleshoot
visiting
it.
my man and his
Because the engine's pretty nice. Like,
Honestly, when you moved it, I heard it and I thought it didn't sound like the transmission. But maybe I'm wrong.
Mom, can I please?
we ain't gonna get much. If this is all that's wrong with it, I ain't even gonna get my name painted on the daggone van.
Need a bucket.
Anita?
Anita.
That's that. I mean, that's the worst I've seen.
Well,
That's probably what it is, man. This clutch didn't slip or nothing.
I didn't think it sounded like the transmission when you moved it.
Well, we just need to test this. I'll get a hold of Chad. There's
Yeah.
really not. I mean,
I
it'd be
know.
stupid to pull the transmission
I
out.
agree. I agree. I think you should try that first.
So he said take it down the road. So yesterday I took it down the road. One. I felt like Clint Eastwood in every which way but loose when he had that monkey ape. It's making that sound. You know the old gear sounds that cars make. And when I let off of it in third, it sounded like a dog was going to attack me. And it was in the drivetrain bad.
Wow.
And I even shut the truck off going down Lower Springboro and let it all and just was going in silence and could hear it. It wouldn't go away.
Well, then that would make more sense.
Yeah. So let's hold off
Yeah,
and fix the U-joint.
that's what I think we should try
Put
first.
it back in and take it for a drive. He says he wants the that'd be great. I mean, I don't want to do work that don't need to be done.
Right, that
We don't
would
need
be
to.
great.
I was looking at all this. Look at all this, man. Look, it's like a piano tuning going on right there
That is.
for emergency brake.
God dang.
So once I started getting into that, we was going to open up a can of worms. They got little turnbuckles, and
What in the world?
I hope it works real good. So you never know. I didn't think it was that I felt like it didn't have. I felt like somebody put a clutch in it, didn't put the pilot bearing in the end of the engine. And the only reason I felt that is because our Dodge truck just did that. Our C50, it would do that. It was vibrating and it went out, and it was because of that.
Well,
So
what
we
is
got
we just got
16 minutes.
16 minutes of hard work
We
here.
fi-
I got to undo 4 bolts for my time in the barn. This was thrilling.
We fixed it. See you next time. No, wait. We don't have a. We'll just make this a rat rod ending. Should we?
I mean, I guess we could.
There's things about Dick they don't know about.
You're gonna have to go over it, I guess.
We're going to follow up on the Chad Bowling drive shaft issue. This was the caps. There's nothing there. So he just got this truck back and hasn't really worked on it. It's just been sitting there. So that's why we're going over some stuff. So I'm just going to show you how to pop it out real quick. And I'm going to pop it out that way when I go get a new one, I can take it with me. That's about the only chance you have of getting stuff anymore. See, it was breaking, and it's been that way a long time. Look at that. There should be needle bearings all around there, and then grease. Just dry, and then it'll come out of there. The exact size of it.
What?
Got a hole in my table here. I just use a bolt and a nut. Put that right on there. Go ahead right here. It already moved. You see that? This table will not move. Hold on a minute, son. See, that's what should have been in the other one. That's the only thing that keeps you going down the highway 80 mile an hour. Ain't that crazy? When you start thinking about stuff like that. All right, so boom on that. And then that. So now we got a sample, right? We take that with us. Look at how wore out it was.
Yeah, it's bad.
There was a lot of distractions around here. Grandpa's out there. All right, so tomorrow I'll run to town and grab another one. We'll throw it in, take it for a drive, and see what else. There's no reason just to keep a shop and take it apart.
Right.
Charge him out the ass.
Right.
Get a free paint job.
Yeah.
But I'm not into that. So
Yeah.
that's that. That's how you take it apart.
Perfect.
We pulled it on the lift. We diagnosed it. Now look at us.
Now we gotta go see Grandpa.
Yep. All right, you're here with Tim Miller. I'm gonna give you an update on Dick Banjo, live from New Center 7 at 7. Did that sound official?
Definitely.
Well, anyways, we were filming last night. The phone died, and I got in the zone, man. I mean, I just stayed in here till after 10 something. Got in the zone. Got that. I don't have everything to mount everything, but check this out. What do you think of that? We picked this up out of
The cabin's rocking.
We got this out of a shed from a guy who's never going to do nothing with it, and now it's rolling. It's hold on, buddy. We got the front axle mounted, and we're just waiting on some U-bolts. So while I was waiting on her to come down, come over here, get in with me. Come here.
What are you asking me?
Come over here.
Back when my pool party was over, Tim got this, see?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit yellow.
Mm-hmm.
It's back in the old time.
We painted it, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was your first paint job, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what they call that? Patina. Say it.
Patina.
Yeah. Come over here.
Look at me and say it.
Patina.
Come over here. Finish up with me. We're going to show them about old Banjo. Look, banjo rolls a little bit. What do you think of that?
I'll try to roll it.
Right here, touch this. Push forward, go. Are you moving it? Look at you. Moving the whole truck. Yeah, boys. Yeah.
I'm on. Did you see me move it a little bit?
Watch this right here.
I did.
Watch that right there. That's sharp as can be. I cut my pants on it last night. That'll cut you. I gotta burn that off. So, anyways, I was waiting on Jennifer and Sammy to get done. I was down here. She said, "What was you working on?" Well, when Doug gave me this rear end, he told me it was locked up. But when they're locked up, it's always the drum brakes. So I was down here beating the drum brakes off. Focus on this mess. That's what happens when you don't maintenance your brakes and then just take your rear end off and set it outside for 10 years. We're gutting all that anyway. We're only going to run front brakes on the front axle. Well, we're only going to run brakes on the front axle and then front disc brakes. This is just kind of a tag along for now. So we're just getting some weight off of it. I got to get U-bolts, plates, and then we'll have this in. Hopefully by this weekend, the Banjo Man is rolling outside on all 6 tires. That's big. That's really big. I know that's like I've been doubting myself on time. Watch your head, not effort. I've been doubting myself on time because we live about 4 lives a day. So we're living 2 right now, ain't we? It's all right. What do you got to say about it?
I mean, it looks amazing. I'm excited. I have complete faith in you. I know you keep saying you think you're going to run out of time, but I think that you're going to do great.
Well, I keep repeating that I'm going to run out of time to keep myself going.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think that even that I don't think I would let myself fail no matter if I had to work on it 24 hours a day up till the end.
Right.
So that's an update on Dick, and that should end the video for the Rat Rod. Last week we didn't have Rat Rod video, we just had us talking. That got a lot of response. Really, everyone they liked getting to know us. And we'll do more of those.
Yeah.
We'll do updates on what's going on, and every once in a while we'll drop in and just chill out and catch you up on what's going on if you're interested. We didn't really know anybody was that interested in us rambling, but you seem to be. And we appreciate that. And that's it. What you got to say, babe?
I'm just excited for what we got going on. I don't know what our Wednesday video is going to be about. We'll have to come up with something. Figuring out what else is going on with Chad's truck, I guess.
Oh yeah, we'll fix it and drive it, and we got a week to figure that out.
Yeah, so.
Sorry we couldn't make you do more work.
That was real lame.
There's plenty to do over here.
Oh, God. All right, well, I guess that's it. Just like, share, subscribe, comment. We love you guys. Keep watching.
That's a strong word.
Yeah, I love people.
I love you.
I love you. And them.
Bye.
Bye.